Member care to move that the House takes note of miscellaneous business?
Mr. Speaker, I so move.
The Honourable David Parker.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to have time to dwell on the broken promises of the government, be it their promise of 170,000 new jobs. So far they've lost 30,000 since they made that promise. Whether it's the drop in exports, especially outside of the primary sector, whether it's the fact that despite their promises we've now clocked over 200,000 people deserting New Zealand for finer pastures in Australia. I would like to be able to illuminate the public as to why it is 4 years into this government we've got a terrible current account deficit, terrible, worst in the developed world. But, Mr. Speaker, I don't have time to that because I want to tell the New Zealand public something positive rather than something negative. And that is that under Labor, if we are elected, power prices will go down. And they'll go down by $230 to $330 a year for the average household, and between 5 and 7% down for business. And, Mr. Speaker, this is something that the Labor Party is proud of, and we will make it happen. The national government has made a fundamental mistake. They have said you can't trust Labor to deliver that. The public of New Zealand know, yes, they can. They will trust us on that, and they are going to vote for it. And that's why the National Party has been so vociferous and over the top with their hysterical reaction to what we announced. Mr. Speaker, good markets are good is shorthand for competitive markets are good. It's not shorthand for uncompetitive markets are good. There is huge amount of evidence that the electricity market is uncompetitive, where it's the WOLAC report of $4.3 billion of overcharging, or whether it's the Auckland University study more recently of over $3 billion. Whether it's these ever-increasing prices that have increased for 15 years at double the rate of inflation since the Bradford reforms that Simon Bridges said need more time to bed in. Mr. Speaker, we've given up on that ridiculous outcome. The other problem is that under the current system, over 50% of New Zealand's power, close to 60% of it, comes from old hydro assets. They get jacked up in their values every year, put into the power prices of New Zealanders every year, more and more, on the basis of the pricing model that is wrong. Free water has been capitalised by the government into these balance sheets of the government, these SOEs that are being sold. So we warn people. Now, what did the government say? It's sabotage. What would they have said if we hadn't warned people? Those people would have been appropriately grieved that we didn't warn them what was coming. I want to reflect on what some of the commentary is saying. New Zealand Herald, Bernard Hickey, power barons failed to fool the public this time round. Around the same time, Anthony Hubbard in the Dominion. It's enough to make you want to scream, was his description of the current situation in electricity. The Herald, an opinion piece by Chris Barton, power competition needs proper regulation. He's not the only one saying that. We had Rob O'Neill around the same time in the Sunday Star Times, business editor, saying, leaving the market as it stands is not good sense. He says there's a need to further regulate the market. Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party is going to reduce power prices. This will have a benefit to the economy. This will have a benefit to the economy. Bill suggests that the economic benefit is $450 million per annum additional economic growth. In addition, 5 to 10,000 more jobs. On the other side, they look at the world through a merchant banking lens. On this side, we look at it through a production industrial job lens. That's the difference between us and that lot on the other side. Mr. Speaker, it's not Stalinism or Albania or North Korea. It's a failed experiment by Max Bradford under National, under which power prices are remorselessly going up.
Mr. Speaker.
The question is the motion be agreed to.
Mr. Speaker,
the Honourable Simon Bridges.
What Kiwis know, Mr. Parker, that Mr. Parker